Today we will be discussing how to create an effective social media campaign.
Yes, today we'll be discussing ROPE, SMART, and some integrated marketing components.
So let's first start with the R in ROPE. The R stands for research, and in research there are three main components. The first one being situation analysis. In other words, what's the product and what's the point? The second component of R is audience. Who is your main target? Who are you speaking to? What's the demographic? Where do they generally live? And what are their interests? The third component is what are these clients' needs? What do they need to improve their lifestyle, or what do they need that they don't know that they need to improve their lifestyle?
Yes, Katie hit it right on the dot. The IMC components to keep in mind during your research process is to stay client-centered and keep your product design in mind. The next letter in ROPE is O, which stands for objectives. After conducting research and prior to building a campaign, you must determine the campaign's goals and objectives. Goals are more broad and generic. Objectives are SMART, which stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. And the integrated marketing components to focus on when forming your goals and objectives are synergy, promotion, and brand identity. How strong is your synergy, promotion, and brand identity, and how will these factors influence the success of your social media campaign?
Great points.
Thank you.
So next we're going to discuss the P, which stands for programming. What are the platforms that you intend to use to get this product known to the public? For example, if you're going to be speaking to a younger demographic, it might be much more beneficial to use things like Instagram and Tumblr versus Facebook. Also, you want to think about how will these platforms be managed? Will you be managing them individually, or will you be using larger outlets such as Hootsuite to manage them all at the same time?
Those are very good points, Katie. In fact, the IMC components to keep in mind for programming would be earned media, educated consumers, and event sponsorship. Like Katie was talking about earlier, to figure out how much you would like to get your product out there, you could sponsor a major event through social media, or earned media. Your social media can generate earned media from feedback and posts from from people responding to your campaign. The last letter in ROPE is evaluation. Evaluation needs to be done throughout your social media campaign. To track the success of a social media campaign, it's easiest to use tracking programs and most effective. You should use tracking programs like Social Mention, Google Analytics, and etc. There's a wide variety of tracking programs to use, both free and some have costs associated with them. You should keep records of the data and results from your tracking to compare as time goes on and your campaign goes on. You should also make sure that your campaign reached all of its goals and objectives, because, as we said earlier, part of SMART is that your objectives are specific and attainable and time-bound, so that your objectives were completed in the time that you allotted for them, which would make it a successful campaign if it did so. And the IMC components to keep in mind during the evaluation process would be tracking and leverage. Leverage is just identifying strengths and weaknesses in your marketing channels.
Great points.
So now Katie will give us an example of an effective social media campaign.
Okay guys, so one that we all might remember, or I know I do specifically, is the Share a Coke Summer 2014 campaign. In this campaign, the soda company Coca-Cola decided to choose the top 250 American names and put them on bottles in hopes that people would be interested in purchasing Coke and sharing with people of these names. To promote this campaign, they used sites such as Instagram, Twitter, and Tumblr. And overall, this campaign was very successful and had over 600,000 Instagram hashtags alone that were used.
I know, that's very impressive.
Very impressive, and actually today, the campaign is still going on.
In fact, Katie, the campaign spread to 50 different countries. I would consider that a pretty effective social media campaign.